Now, when the former Vice President, Professor Yemi was saying sometime in the year that oil theft posed a serious threat to Nigeria's economy, he was only stating the obvious. This is as the country is said to be losing substantial volumes of crude oil to bunkering on a regular basis. The menace, which is as old as the oil industry, is a fact that Nigeria cannot shy away from or claim ignorance of. Meanwhile, there's been allegations that the fact that the perpetrators of this criminal act have not been brought to justice is an indicator to the fact that some government agents or cartel are directly involved, whose interests are being protected day in, day out. We're now being joined by a director at the National Probity and Value for Nation Building Organization, Shobo Abayomi, and he'll be sharing his perspective on the very disturbing situation. Good to have you on Arise News. Good
It's
afternoon.
an honor to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So when we look at in terms of consequences for those that are involved, and we've not really seen anything concrete. What do you make of the fact that they're saying there might be some, those in government that are profiting from this, which is why we've not really seen anything in terms of prosecution?
Thank you very much. It's not gainsaying when we say Nigeria is in problem, because right about now, we have poverty walking the streets of Nigeria. We are buying fuel at over 600. Our government cannot fund education. They cannot give us critical infrastructures. They cannot fulfill their social responsibilities. We are suffering all this all because of this crude oil theft. Until we can stem the tide of crude oil theft, until the government would be resolute and punish these perpetrators, because we are fighting principalities. So we need the government to be proactive, to be resolute. And I think I'll give it to President Bola Tinubu, because I saw the delegates. He sent some delegates to Niger Delta, I think about 2 weeks ago. The star-studded delegate of the NSA, No Ribadu. We have the GMD and NPC. They all visited the crime scenes, because those are crime scenes. They visited the crime scenes in the Niger Delta region, which is unprecedented. We have not seen that from any government in recent years. So for them to have come to the region to assess the situation of things themselves and give some support to the people of Niger Delta that, okay, I am here for you people. I am here to listen to your plight. I am here to make your region habitable for you. And I am here to rescue Nigeria, because this is the cornerstone of our economy. We write our budget yearly based on the money we make from the oil in the Niger Delta. So there is no way Nigeria can thrive or can be prosperous without the Niger Delta, without the oil. So from the gesture we've seen from President Tinubu in the past few weeks, I want to believe he has the willpower to tackle this menace crumbling our society. And from what we've seen so far from the GMD, NNPC, and the NSA, they are all on board. They all have this synergy. They have this alliance. And with Tantita Security Services, they all have this alliance to work together to get Nigeria out of this quagmire that we are in.
All right, then I like the fact that we've started this conversation this way, because we know that oil theft remains a persistent issue in Nigeria, leading to significant economic losses and, of course, environmental damage. But you've spoken about ways in which this can be resolved, specific measures or strategies that can help in achieving this goal. And I was reading an article about, the challenges that oil theft kind of puts forward. And it's suggested targeted sanctions at individuals and entities involved in illegal oil trade. Now, international courts are mentioned as I was mentioned as the potential entity to hold criminal organizations accountable. Now, what challenges do you see? What do you think the problem is? Why is it that we've not been able to hold anybody accountable? And what international cooperation would be required for these sanctions to be effective? Because it's only when it's effective that we can begin to see change.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. To start with, I think the government has started on the right path, because now we have the main players in the game. We have the NSA, we have the private security companies, but you know, Nigeria is a funny country. The private contractors in charge and the security forces, they have seized a couple of vessels. They have discovered over 1,000 cooking arena. But we discovered that after the seizure of these vessels, our authorities tend to give back these vessels to these perpetrators. And what do? They change the name of the vessels, they bring them back to our territorial waters to loot our country. So it all boils down to the government. The government has to be proactive. Maybe when we see a chief of army staff or a chief of naval staff being prosecuted to the full extent of the law and jailed, then maybe others will sit tight. Yes, that is it. Because now they are fighting corruption and corruption is fighting back. We've been seeing some campaigns on calumny in the dailies. People are going about renting crowd, downplaying the impact of the government, downplaying the impact of the security forces, all because they think, oh, this is some social experiment, or they are trying to be politically correct, or they are grandstanding that, no, we can do this job. No, this is not the time for that.
Indeed.
Nigeria now needs the proper hands, the people with proven track record, the people that have been doing it. Because prior to, I think I'll make reference to the twilight of President Buhari, August last year. He discovered we were losing millions of dollars daily to crude oil theft. So he brought in a private contractor, Tantita Security Services. And from August that these people came on board, towards the last quarter of last year, our oil output increased from meager 500,000 barrels, because Nigeria was able to produce only 500,000 barrels. And we are supposedly the giant of Africa. So Algeria, Angola, these are baby oil producers, but they were above us in the oil market. When you look at the monthly oil market reports, when you look at the OPEC reports, these people were way above us. So President Buhari was agitated. He called on Tantita Security Services. They came on board, and to cut the long story short, from meager 500,000 barrels, Nigeria now is doing 1.6 million barrels per day. And I'm sure with encouragement to solidify the synergy between these people, they can bring us excellence of scaling 2 million barrels per day or more. I think we have a good formation now in place. We have the good players. We have people that are capable with proven track record. Because I believe right about now, if we are having conversations, it should be issue-based and result-oriented. People that have delivered, let them get the job done. So we are on the right path. Our oil output is increasing every day. When you go to Focados, when you go to Kwa Iboa, you will see the oil output significantly. We are increasing it daily. So that means we are getting there.
Yes, but we're almost pressed for time, but we must ask you this, what you mentioned earlier about, when we start to see maybe chief of army staff jailed and whatnot. Are you insinuating that this oil theft has reached that level when we also know that the Nigerian army discovered about, I believe that was 12 illegal oil bunkering sites in Delta State just not too long ago?
Yes. When you look at most of all these seizures and discoveries, you will see the blueprints of the private security firms in it. They are the ones that carry out intelligence reports and security audits. Then they will get the services of NSCDC, Navy, Army, and say, okay, let's go. We have discovered some oil tappings. We have discovered some pole fire. We have discovered, because that's the local parlance they use for cooking crude oil in Delta. We have discovered pole fire. They take them there. So these security companies are actually the game changers, because even our security operatives, they come about to tell us they have some bad eggs within their folds. They know they are corrupt. They know. We all know they are corrupt.
All right, then. We really wish we could have this conversation with you longer. But thank you so much for sharing those insights. And we'd definitely love to have you back here on Newsday sometime.
My pleasure.